Here we will be covering merchant notification and order transaction management. We will start with merchant notification. This is about the notification for every transaction being sent to you as the merchant or the customer as the cardholder. As you can see, the notification management section will show you transaction notifications which are divided into refund transaction, authorization transaction, capture transaction, or purchase transaction. Capture and purchase transaction options are the same, and it indicates that the card has been debited for the transaction amount. They are given different terminologies due to the different configuration in the MID, which is configured as auth and capture. In such cases, the amount is first authorized, which means it was just blocked by the issuer, but not yet debited. The next step is capture, which happens in the back end, as well as consecutively to the first step. But to the cardholder, it would seem to be one step. After the authorization capture step, the actual amount is debited, where the customer will usually receive the message from their issuing bank during the authorization step. The second type of MID is configured as a single step, which means the auth and capture will be done in one single step, which is purchase, where the card will be debited directly. Depending on the type of MID configured by your acquirer, you will have either auth and capture MID or purchase MID, which is the main reason why capture and purchase have the same meaning, indicating the card has been debited. By checking or unchecking on the boxes next to each transaction type, you can control the type of notification you would like to send to your cardholder. Example, if you want them to receive a notification for the refund only, then you will check the box next to it. If you want to send a notification when the card is debited, you can check the boxes next to capture or purchase, depending on the account configuration, which can be seen in the Payment Options tab, and then save changes. So depending on the boxes checked above, your clients will receive the email notification emails from Payfort for these specific transactions. Always make sure to click Save Changes if you have modified anything in your account. Next tab is Order Transaction Management, and it gives you a brief overview of the transactions made on your account, which might make you wonder, what would be the difference between this report and the transaction report? The first difference is the view of it. Second, and most important difference, is that this one will allow you to process a refund if needed. Firstly, we need to select a date range as we please, which is limitless, and click on Search. You can search transactions using the Fort ID or the merchant reference number as well. For now, let's search using the date range, where all the transactions will show up, with the Fort ID and the merchant reference along with the amount, date, and time on the left-hand side of the page. While on the right-hand side of the page, you will see the details of the selected transaction. So for example, if we select this one, it shows that the status is incomplete and it failed at the 3D Secure level. By clicking on the 3D Secure box, you will see the reason for failure, meaning the 3D Secure check was requested, but there was no OTP entered, and that's why it failed. When the 3D Secure box is red, it means that the transaction failed at the 3D Secure level, and when it's green, then it's successful, like we can see in this transaction. Operation, purchase accepted, and then we can see that this transaction has been refunded as well. So operation, refund was also accepted. Both 3D Secure and fraud are green, meaning both were successful. But suppose the fraud box was red, then it would mean that the transaction failed because of a fraud block, and again, if you click on the fraud box, the pop-up will show you the reason for the fraud block, and instead of success, it would say decline. And there would be a reason for failure here. Now we can just click on Close. Now let's look for a successful transaction that has not been refunded. As we can see here, it says Purchase and shows the date and accepted. In order to refund if needed, you can click on this action button. Click on the refund button. By default, the transaction value will be entered and you can edit the amount, but it should not exceed the transaction value, meaning it can be equal to or less than the amount. So for instance, if you want to make a partial refund and the total transaction amount is 100 AED and you want to refund 80 AED, then you will type the refund amount here. And if you want to refund the full amount, don't type anything, just press Confirm. Now it will show failed because this payment option of this test account being used is inactive, but usually it should be a success. And if for some reason the refund process was a failure, please get in touch with us and provide us with the Fort ID so we can assist you. So we have seen how to refund. and how this page here shows the transactions and their details, status, and whether it was accepted or failed.